I think kind of what happened was actually that Geralt's voice bedded in. In Witcher 1, I had to push him down there. You know, it a long way to go for my voice at the time. Even though at the time that I did Witcher 1, I was a smoker. I quit between Witcher 1 and Witcher 2. And I remember in Witcher 2, I had to work in a different way to find the voice, but by Witcher 3, it was just kind of there. I didn't have to work for it anymore. So I think what happened is I damaged my voice beyond recognizable Doug sounds, and now I'm just Geralt. Only when I want to be, though, you know. I have been told by some fans who had chose to play in languages other than English that they preferred the non-English Geralt. And that's great. That's fantastic, because I don't have to listen to the Polish Geralt and then try to approximate his sound. For me, I was always the English Geralt, and I had the lines, and I made his voice work. I don't know how it works for the other guys. I understand that for some of them, they have to try to basically do my performance, but they're in their own language, and I can imagine that being really, really challenging. No, but Kevin, for what it's worth, man, I love your work.
Always the professional.
I was made part of a list of the people that this person would most like to hear do the next Batman voice.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, I went through and I listened to a lot of Batman voices, potential Batman voices, and I thought, yeah, these are all good. These are all good candidates. There was no contractual obligation for the continuation of me playing Geralt. It was all just, you know, as things developed, they kept calling me back, and we are where we are now. There's been some kind of rumors and jokes about me coming back into the new game, you know, Cyberpunk,
yes,
which is still in development in some way, shape, or form. You know, it would be really fun to continue my relationship with CD Projekt Red, because they've been great. I've had a really great 10 years with CD Projekt Red. They've been fantastic people. They sent me a big box of goodies as a little thank you. You know, just little things, you know, pins and T-shirts and stuff like that. So, you know, they were very nice. The tech, in terms of recording voices and stuff like that, is pretty basic. All the tech advancements were CD Projekt making the game the best it could be. Between Witcher 1 and Witcher 3, there wasn't a huge difference in how we recorded Geralt's voice. Witcher 1, we had one microphone. Witcher 3, there were two microphones. That's the technical change. Oh. But that doesn't require a lot of money. You know? When I was in the booth, there was always a director and an engineer in the other room, just on the other side of a piece of glass. And I had headphones on so I could talk to them. We could interact. So you're never alone. And sometimes Boris or someone else is on Skype listening in and stuff like that, and you have a chat with them as well. So, but in terms of the other characters, it's always been alone from the very beginning. Sometimes I record my lines first, and then the other characters react to my lines as I perform them. And sometimes, and this is when I really love it, is when they've already recorded, and then I can react to their lines. Because that's when, you know, as an actor, you kind of that's what your thing is. You know, it's about reacting to someone else. Okay. You have to be aware of your voice. You have to be aware of how your voice works and how you can alter it to a certain extent. You know, everybody can only change their voice so much, so everybody will have their limits. I personally think you need to have some actor training. You have to understand enough about the acting process to be able to converse with the director. You need to have a love for telling a story. Like I just said, you know, you have to be part of the story. You can't just make funny voices. That doesn't work. It's kind of wonderful, actually, because I've got the best kind of fame in some respects because I have a little bit of fame, and it's nice to have. It is a blessing, and it's lovely to be able to talk with people like yourself, to be part of something that people love so much. But at the same time, I don't want to walk down the street necessarily and be recognized and be stopped, while I'm trying to go buy some underpants or something like that. And so it's kind of nice. Nobody really knows who I am, but most people, what they know is a voice that is not my own, a voice that is very different from my own in many respects. Back in July, I finished Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I've not played Hearts of Stone yet. I've not played Blood and Wine. I'm getting to that. But I played through the entire Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I think for the first couple hours, it was a bit weird.
Yeah.
Because I was hearing my own performance, and sometimes I went, ooh, that was good. And sometimes I didn't notice it at all. That's the best time. And sometimes I went, ooh. I think it's really hard to not be your absolute worst critic and go, oh, that was crap. And now that's out there forever and ever and ever. Yeah, I've read all of them. Except that there's a recent one that's a bunch of short stories that I haven't read. But yeah, I've read all of them. Love them. Yeah, but I wasn't able to read them before Witcher 1 because they weren't available in English. I wasn't able to read them for most of Witcher 2. There were only a couple that I could read for Witcher 2. So I read most of them kind of during the tail end of Witcher 2 and into Witcher 3. Somebody asked me recently on Twitter, they said, would you be willing to do audiobook versions? And I said, yeah, absolutely, but I haven't been asked, and I haven't heard anything about audiobooks being made. So it would have to, I'd have to tell the story as Doug, as a version of Doug, and then break into Geralt's voice when it was needed. And God knows what my Triss voice would sound like.
I was just going to say, would you do Triss?
Yeah, or Yennefer. I mean, Denise Goff, she's done a fantastic job. I think I could do a good job as a metal band man.
So perfect.
I don't know if I'd survive, to be honest. Maybe that hurt just doing that. I don't know how they do it. Those guys, I don't know how they do it. A lot of smoking and bourbon, I think.
Great stuff, Doug. Right, well, take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much for this again.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Cheers. Take care, buddy.
Speak soon.
Speak to you soon. Doug Cockle is literally the coolest person I've ever met.
Perfect.